appearance of Johnny Drama. Victory! The Giants move to 1-0 after a great come-from-behind win versus the Titans. Brian Daboll with absolute balls of steel, going for 2 at the end of the game. Absolutely love seeing that. Saquon made 2 guys miss and then dove into the end zone, making another 2 guy miss. So it was just great to see, absolutely. And, for us Giants fans, the last decade or so, every time the Giants score late, we always see what's going to happen, right? There's just too much time on the clock. The other team gets the ball back, and our defense looks like Swiss cheese. There's no pass rush. The Giants are giving up, 15 yards a clip, maybe a defensive holding, pass interference. And what do you know? The other team's always in field goal range for a chance to either win the game or send it to overtime. And it happened again here, where Randy Bullock missed a field goal to essentially win the game. But hey, a win's a win. I'll take it. I absolutely love it. So jacked up. Love to see the ballsy just 2-point go for it, because it's something we haven't really shown the desire to do, especially last year when we're on our own 10-yard line and we're doing quarterback sneaks. Glad to see that we have fully transitioned from an era like that to a whole new culture, especially led by Brian Daboll. You see him in the locker room after the game, absolutely jacked up, dancing with the guys. That's what I love to see from our coach week 1. The balls, the grit, just the culture and camaraderie with the team. Everything looked amazing towards the end of that game. And then, we catch a break with a missed field goal. But, hey, this is the NFL. And a lot of kickers missed field goals yesterday. So, it was a really crazy time for them. But who cares? Giants are 1-0, and that's the only thing that matters. Obviously, it took a while for the Giants to get going in this game. The Titans' defense looked really good. And then, the Giants did do a lot of good things, especially Saquon stepped up. Looked great, made a lot of explosive plays, kind of put the team on his back with almost like an MVP level performance in week 1, right? Victory. Let's go. Giants 21, Titans 20. Got my coffee here. It tastes even better this morning after Giants dub. And for some great Dunkin' Donuts coffee content, check out my guy License Plate Guy on Instagram, as he'll be buying random Dunkin' Donuts gift cards and handing them out to random workers and people on the street, as long as they say, "Let's go Giants." It's some of the best Monday morning content you'll see as a Giants fan, and it makes you just happy to be a Giants fan. So with that, let's dive into things here. Obviously, the game didn't start out too well for the Giants. They immediately go 3 and out right off the bat, right? And they didn't even score in the first half. But I think, diving into things here, I think the biggest things that you saw in the opening half and those first drives were just the dominance of the Titans defensive line against a new sort of Giants offensive line, trying to get that cohesion down. The guy, Jeffrey Simmons, looked absolutely like a stud out there. I mean, Jesus Christ, the guy had, 2 sacks? What did he have? 2 sacks, 2 TFLs, 2 pressures. I don't know if that counts for a sack, but he was just tearing it up front, and the Giants couldn't do anything. But you saw maybe a little bit as time went on, the Giants got more cohesiveness in their running game. The Titans' defense and their attack started to slow down a little bit. And just also looking at a glance, I think from a defensive perspective, the Giants did a pretty good job of containing Derrick Henry, right? He didn't have too many breakout runs. And then Tay Crowder also leveled him on that one play, so love to see that. But yeah, he had that 3.9 average, and really where the Titans were successful and where Ryan Tannehill's 2 touchdown passes came to was just throwing it to Dontrell Hilliard out of the backfield, right? I think Tay Crowder was covering him that one touchdown where he just ran into whoever was the cornerback or the safety in the middle of the field, and Dontrell Hilliard was wide open. So the Titans obviously saw some of that, and I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Rule and the Panthers, for how bad they looked the other day. I think they'll mimic a lot of that, especially with Christian McCaffrey coming up. So they're going to look to probably be creative just to get him in this space to show that our linebackers necessarily can't cover right now. But having said that, let's dive into where the game really changed, right? Saquon, we're 1st and 10 on our own 9-yard line, kind of backed up a little bit to start the second half. And Saquon just takes it off edge, beat the guard around the back, if that is a design. No, actually, no, it wasn't designed. Who's that? 93 just beat him completely across his face right there. And you catch a break there, right? Sterling in motion might have helped a little bit, but obviously he's looking to kill Daniel Jones, and he probably would have if it was play action. But regardless, no negativity here. Saquon just burns one down the edge. Maybe got away with one there. But we'll take it. And then Saquon just takes it all the way down the sideline, stays in bounds. Just looks amazing there. Looks back in form. Absolutely love to see that. Look how jacked up he is too. Like you can just tell he's happy to be back and making plays. So then later this drive, then the Giants. Something that has always sucked for us is red zone and the ability to do anything in the red zone, and you see that kind of change here. Saquon, just quick juke, tumbles into the end zone, looks absolutely great there. So jacked up. He's happy to be back. Everyone's jacked up. Richie James jacked up. Honestly, I hadn't even heard of this guy before this game, but he looked great, right? What were his final stats? If we jump back. He got 6 targets, 5 for 59. He was pretty good in getting open somehow. Like, they didn't, he had space. Maybe he's running good routes or whatnot. But, yeah, it was interesting to see because Richie James, they plugged him right in when I don't think he has the most experience with this offense. So it goes to show you, what the Giants coaching staff is kind of thinking of Kadarius Toney, who did have a good run, and then they also ran the screen with that was supposed to be a pass, but he made something out of nothing there. Usually guys just get blown up. But yeah, I don't know how that's going to transpire. Maybe it'll give Toney a little bit more motivation to practice and show what he could do in practice a little bit more. But liked what I saw from Richie James, especially on special teams as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he plugs into this as the season progresses. So let's also jump back to the next drive. Then we have Daniel Jones just letting one loose. And Shepard makes a great play here, right? He makes a great mid-air adjustment or mid-ball adjustment when the ball's in the air. And he's got to come back a little bit. Obviously, he torched this DB who wasn't even close. Look, he's got like 7 yards in between them. So, I don't know. Maybe Daniel Jones is just like, holy shit, he's open. Or, because he does underthrow it a little bit. So, he must have just been like, I'm just throwing it up there. Let Shep go get it. Make a play. 26 just absolutely torched. Probably getting ripped on in film today. Great to see Shep back. I didn't know any sort of really role he would play after that Achilles injury, so you got to be so happy to just see him back at it, making plays, and scoring a huge touchdown, right? And then he finished with, that 65-yard touchdown, but 2 for 71. But, here's the thing with these guys. There are guys that can make plays. I think it's going to be, on a week-in and week-out basis, and hopefully they don't have to be like, forced throws to certain guys. And having said that, I think what you saw later in this game is when Daniel Jones did force that one to Saquon. It was a wheel route on 3rd down, and Dabble got in his face screaming at Daniel Jones because it was a terrible throw. Like, I wish I could find a highlight of that just to show you because Daniel Jones is literally staring at Saquon the entire time. He's just gets the snap, looks left, and there's a long time for that wheel route to develop where the linebacker's looking at Daniel Jones, looking at Saquon, and he's like, and then also he threw it behind him too. It's like, it was just way too easy of an interception, and that's why Dabo was so pissed off because it's points off the board, especially in the red zone, and it looks like, you caught a break there right after the muffed punt from the Titans, so you're getting at least 3 free points there if you don't mess it up, and Daniel Jones messed it up, so a little bit worrisome from him. I was pretty pissed off about that one, but he did show some glimpses, a lot of runs too. Like, how many rushing yards did he finish with? 25 yards, made some plays a little bit longer, but again, he's got to do a little bit better of sliding because, his history data shows that when he does get hit, it's going to, end in an injury. So he's got to do a little bit better of sliding. Especially when you get sacked, 5 times. So he got hit a bunch. Let's fast forward to right before this play. The Giants scored on a play action rollout to tight end, I believe, Chris Miriak. I don't even know how to say his name. And yeah, 1 for 1 yard and touchdown. Love to see him get on the stat sheet there. But it was wide open. It was a great play call and very similar to shit that you see that the Bills do. I think they did a play just like that on Thursday night. So, and then, of course, the ballsy 2-point conversion attempt, right? 1-point game. You could easily just take the points. And originally, when they were lining up for this, I thought that they were just going to make the Titans call a timeout. Let me just full screen this so you could see. The Titans had one last timeout here. And I thought that they were just going to line up so the Titans would have to blow their timeout, and then it would give them a little bit less wiggle room for going down the field for having to get out of bounds and try and get there as quickly as possible with no timeouts. But the Dabo lined up and they called the play. So look at that.
Shovel. Barkley breaks a tackle, dives in for
Amazing.
two.
Look at Saquon talk shit after. He's so back. But let's just talk about this immediately, right? Like, he goes right off the bat. Saquon or Daniel Jones just rifles it into his stomach. At first, I was like, oh my god, like. Thank God Saquon has good hands because he didn't throw it lightly in there. And this is all covered. Like, what else are the Titans supposed to do here? Like, right there. 2 guys just missed running into each other. And I think that's probably a face mask as well that they didn't call. But this is going to show you that Saquon is fully back, makes 2 guys miss. And then as he's diving in, he lowers his shoulder, runs through another, just pad level wins. The guy can't get below him to stop him and stand him up. And he gets into the end zone. What's better than that? Giants being back. Love that. And then, of course, we know the rest is history. The Titans come down and then miss that field goal. So, and then, of course, you got the Brian Dabo celebration in the locker room, jacked up with all the boys. You know, it's amazing to see this culture change that could just happen with one single win. That's all it takes. It's the NFL. Maybe the Giants didn't deserve this win, but you know what? It's the NFL, and you could win any given Sunday. So, love to see that week 1. As we move on to week 2, the Giants do have the Panthers, so I'll definitely do a review coming out there. Going to be going to the game as well. So if you're tailgating and you want to meet for a tailgate, let me know. Would love to meet some of you guys, and yeah, just be pumped up because there's nothing better than a home tailgate to start the season. So, hey, Giants are 1-0. Let's go.